We are now on day 4 of the downward facing arrow. So whether it's just simply a consolidation or you may get even worse, a pullback down would be unpleasant after such a great run. It's your friend Scott Bennett with Invest with Rules, and it's Wednesday, so I thought I would share our watch list, the top of the watch list with you. We'll go over 3 tickers. I have a bonus one too, I think you're going to like. We'll cover the market. There's a little bit of NVIDIA earnings. Let's dive in. Let's look at some charts together. Here we go. What we're going to do before we dive in, world's quickest disclosure. This is just information, not a direct solicitation to go buy or sell anything. Please always manage your rules, manage your risk. We care about you. We want you to do well, but you have to manage your risk when things get difficult. What we do at Invest with Rules is we categorize all stocks and ETFs into these 4 quadrants of the trend roadmap. And what we're trying to do on our watch list is to specifically go for stocks and ETFs that are in short term and long term uptrends, that green area, we'll call that the advancing phase, similar to it's a little bit of our spin on it from the great work of Stan Weinstein. And these are on gas signals, so short term and long term uptrends. And here we'll go to our very first item. So we have a stock that's actually been in a pretty severe downtrend for quite a while, and the ticker is OKTA, OKTA. And today is the very first day it's been on a gas signal. So short-term, long-term uptrend. It peaked all the way back in May of 2025. So a year ago, it has been in a horrid downtrend. This is a cybersecurity company. This one we don't own. Earnings are on May 28th. But what's really interesting is it went from a downtrend that was severe, a final washout that maybe was your lows from 2024. So far, they've held. And on April 28th, you got your upward facing green arrow. That's kind of our confirmation that there's a higher probability that things are improving, and you'll likely go from a U-turn to a gas signal. And you see how many of these green upward arrows have finally appeared, and now you are above the 21-day exponential moving average, you're above the 50-day simple moving average, you're above the the 200-day simple, and you finally made it up and over. So earnings around the corner, but watch list item number 1, Okta. We'll see what happens after earnings, but this one's really interesting. The next one we're going to go for, the cloud stocks. Now, these have been severely beaten up when the rest of the tech world has done exceptional. The cloud tickers, think like ServiceNow or Microsoft or Salesforce or Adobe. They have had a really tough go. You formed a big base, you have your handle. We actually added right here, in full disclosure, we do own this on May 18th, this upward facing arrow on a gas signal. So short term and long term are now back in an uptrend. So you have this scenario, which is exactly what we're looking for. And if I do like IGV, that's still in a U-turn. So short term up, long term down. But this particular ETF, which owns a basket of the cloud stocks, acting stronger. So I thought that one was interesting. We do own that in full and fair disclosure. We'll always manage risk, but you can kind of see how our entry was on this day here. So that's watch list item number 2. Let's do watch list item number 3, and this is sorted based on relative strength index. We're going to another ETF. It's ticker UFO, or the space stocks. We do own this one in our Invest with Rules program, in our advisory program as well. It's on a gas signal. And what was really interesting, we owned it. We've actually owned it for quite a while, but it broke out. I think this is where we originally got in. And it broke out. It tested the exact high of January, and off it goes. And we have the SpaceX IPO coming. You have a short-term and long-term uptrend. You have your green arrow. A really strong day today for space stocks. What was really interesting, look at exactly how the upward-facing green arrows, which we'll kind of zoom in here, on April 2nd. So the low was right here, March 30th. And then you had a gas signal on the 1st, April 2nd, you kind of came up and over this consolidation area. You tested it one more time. Look at all those green arrows showing confirmation that there's a higher probability the price could keep climbing. You'll stay in your gas signal. It consolidated, and this is interesting. The downward facing red arrows, we call those kind of check engine lights. We got four of them in our final fifth, and that's exactly where it pulled down to a coast. We held our position based on our process. We wait till the very next day, and off it went. So pretty interesting. It was back above our stop the very next day. So pretty interesting how that worked, and we still own ticker UFO. Before we get to our last ticker, I'm going to share with you, we'll go to the S&P 500 just to talk about the market for a moment. And we have a Google Sheets version of this, which has the gas coast break. So if you go to investwithrules.com, there's no obligation, completely free. If you go to investwithrules.com, click sign up for free, you can have this particular S&P 500 ticker tool. So you can see the trend, exactly the stages. I go over all that for you. But here's the S&P 500. This is the TradingView trend roadmap script that we have. It does have these additional little confirmation arrows. The orange boxes are what we call overheat. So if we go through the market, you had this very difficult February into the end of March with the conflict in Iran. And then you got three confirmation arrows and your gas signal on April 8th, that gap up. And the market really hasn't looked back. So April 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 13th, 14th. I hope I said that right. Those were all where we were adding lots of positions. And then once we got that orange overheat, that's where we would stop. We would say, okay, it's extended relative strength index over 68. Some people like 70. We use 68. And there was even more confirmation signals. But what's really interesting is we are now on day 4 of the downward facing arrow. So whether it's just simply a consolidation or you may get a pullback to the 21-day exponential, or even worse, a pullback down to the 50-day simple would be unpleasant after such a great miraculous run. So we've added some cash, we've added some positions. I'll share our final and fourth ticker on our watch list in just a second here, but this tells us to be a little bit more cautious. And we had NVIDIA report tonight, and they're down, what is it, like 1%? Not even. But what's interesting is NVIDIA had a gas signal on the 7th, confirmation on the 10th, and it's off and running. And you can kind of see when you see these downward facing red arrows, this is where we would not be adding. And we would not be adding, this is our process, please manage yours, when you see these orange extensions. So the last time we would have been adding would have been on the 6th or 7th of May, and not here. So maybe it pulls in, comes down a little bit, and before maybe keeps running, but we'll see how that works out. Okay, final ticker for you. We added this morning. So ticker MAR, Marriott International. Why do we enter stocks? They are being accumulated by billion-dollar fund managers. So we have kind of the Venn diagram. We want to see accumulation from large institutional funds. And then we also want to see this uptrend right here. So if we go back to Marriott, this morning it had its green arrow. You had a cup, here's your handle, and it had a gas signal and another one today on some higher volume. And you had the coveted green arrow there this morning. And we own it. We're up a little bit in the position. And as much as consumer discretionary has been under pressure, this is acting strong in the market. So I hope this was helpful and gave you some ideas. That is what's at the top of our watch list on Wednesday. Have a good day. I hope this helped you identify some uptrends or things coming to uptrends, but please always do your due diligence, manage your risk tolerance. This is not a direct solicitation, just things for your watch list. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you at investwithrules.com.